r/NoStupidQuestions. Fangothleaf says, if your S/O became disabled and couldn't work anymore, would you or would you not leave them? How long would you take care of them? I'm asking this question in good faith. Usredef says, my partner was disabled in her 20s. She was diagnosed with fibro. She had days where she could walk, and she had other days where I'd have to pick her up and take her to the bathtub. It just depended on how much she hurt that day. Then after I was done in the bath, I'd normally get her a hot chocolate, grab her book, get her in bed, get out her meds, and then go into my office and work. If she needed something, I was there. Was it difficult at times? Sure. But when I started dating her, she told me once we were in a serious state, and I accepted it. She had maybe 4 to 5 good days a month where we could go out and take a trip somewhere and do something fun that let her walk for a few hours. I stayed with her over 5 years. She and I often had discussions because she felt like she was a burden and would feel guilty, and I had to keep telling her I loved her and wanted to stay. The other issue was her medication had her not being well at times or thinking clearly. She had a lot of ups and downs. They had her on some pretty intense meds for such a young age. Something you'd expect a 70-year-old cancer patient to take. If it were my choice, we'd still be together. Unfortunately, things just don't always work out how we want. Som41 says, I'm in the same situation. My wife got the same diagnosis 4 years ago after being together for 6. She's 34 now. It's hard and most days it sucks, especially because I knew her when she was still healthy. She is the sweetest person in the world. It's very hard to see her the way she is now. Friends and family slowly are turning away from her because she went from being the person that did everything for everyone to somebody that needs help herself. And then you quickly find out who are your real friends. I try to be as helpful and sweet as you were, but if I'm being honest, some days that's really difficult. I always try to put her comfort above everything, but sometimes there's a selfish day where I just do the absolute minimum to give myself a little break to survive. I started working 80% 3 years ago. Recently I switched to working as a freelance consultant to have even more freedom and to optimize some financial stuff as well. It's impossible for her to work, and anything we want to do to improve her comfort costs a lot of money out of our own pocket. We r/NoStupidQuestions. Codibus11 says, why do people become so hostile minor driving inconveniences? Most people seem nice and refrain from saying bad things about people off the road. But when it comes to driving, one minor inconvenience and the other person is an idiot, a-hole, stupid, etc. What makes people treat and view others so poorly when it comes to driving? Watcher Milton says, because people breaking the rules of the road mean they're being unsafe. Cutting you off isn't just an inconvenience, it's merging without checking their blind spot or looking out their window. Tailgating isn't just aggressive, it's eliminating the necessary stopping distance, so if you had to decelerate for any reason you're more likely to be rear-ended and injured. The exact same behavior causes minor inconveniences and major accidents, the only difference is luck. So yeah, people who cause minor inconveniences are assholes because they aren't taking the 3,000-pound machine they're in seriously and risk the lives of people around them. World Talistengineer says, driving is very dangerous, by far the most dangerous thing most people have in their day-to-day lives. People in danger have a height and fight or flight reflex. United Dealer 2074 says, it's funny if you use Google Maps, you see that driving fast might save you literally like 1 minute. Wish people would chill. Can you imagine how many people die in crashes just to save 1 minute? That being said, it still pisses me off when seemingly smart people drive slow in the fast lane. An actual specificated says, because if you bump someone you might kill them, If you just bump someone on the street they are probably fine. Torresy says. Because they are doing dangerous things and creating hazards. Plus the fact that probably 80% of dingbats on the road shouldn't have a license to begin with. I wish they'd let me design the driving test. Christ, the only people on the road would be the most considerate, careful people on the planet. All 6 of us would enjoy driving rather than finding it stressful. r/NoStupidQuestions. Susie Skullcrusher says. How do female gymnasts and runners keep from getting a wedgie? I'm watching the pre-Olympic games with my dad, and one thing I keep noticing is that their unitards and bikini shorts seem to be staying in place, and I don't understand how. Usually if I wear something like that I have to spend the day constantly picking the material out of my butt. Dragon6172 says. You've heard of boob tape? How about ass glue? Perennial Philosopher says. It's a small foam device installed between the cheeks. It's a revolutionary invention pioneered by Drive. Phil McCracken, /S. Wombat 5003 says. Gymnasts use it. It's a spray adhesive that keeps their uniforms in place. It's a real thing. I'm sure it's used in high school gymnastics too, as well as other sports. Watcher Sayan says. Hear me out. Just imagine if female athletes could just wear uniforms that weren't one muscle movement away from a nip slip. Especially in high school sports. I mean seriously. It's gross and no one seems to care. Boys/men playing the same exact sports don't have this problem. Their uniforms are meant for the sport and to be comfortable/protective. Female athletes get glue to keep their modesty intact. Athletic associations need to do better. r/NoStupidQuestions. Lilu Puppy says. Does semen move? Or does it stay stationary while the sperm inside it moves? Let's take conception as the example. Sperm needs to meet egg. Does the semen have to physically touch the egg in order for the sperm to reach the egg? Or does it move around inside the woman after ejaculation looking for the egg? Like flubber. Rewardiflist says. Sperm can swim in other fluids like vaginal mucus. Sperm needs to contact the egg. Individual sperm cells are free to swim off in different directions, which they do. I really don't think flubber moves around inside a woman looking for an egg. Lilu Puppy says. So, there needs to be adequate mucus for the semen to come in contact with and act like a bridge. Ubiquitous Joe says. Probably, but the vagina is literally a mucous membrane. Stephen Mark says. Semen is the perfect environment for sperm to thrive in. After ejaculation the cervix actually reacts in a way to suck up the fluid in order to facilitate its travels towards the fallopian tubes. Without semen, sperm won't have the safety of its home. Vaginal secretions can also kill or wound sperm. If the woman orgasms, for example, the vagina is flooded with fluid that enables weak and strong swimmers to thrive. So sperm rely on fluids that create a safe, reliable mode to make the journey. Acceptable Will 4743 says. You've got to hit a home run if you want to make it to home. r/NoStupidQuestions. Gfifrub says. How many of you would commit to multiple years to go into space? Let's say 0 to 5 years awake and 6 etc years in some slumber. Yes. Sailors insert and spent years away, it's doable. Sumbergan says. I bet the pay is great, so as long as you have no commitments, heck yeah. What is there to lose? Artistic Stan 4312 says. I can't even commit to plans on a Saturday. Rabble Brighton says. I'd commit to multiple years for a space journey, especially if it involves a mix of awake time and slumber. Now Nexpert 3132 says. For what? to get rocks? Not me thanks. Hoppy1064 says, I'm 67. For a trip to Mars, I'd make a lifetime pledge. Sharp Direction 6894 says, I would love to science the shit out of space exploration, but I would need to have a female companion and sex needs to be acknowledged and accepted as part of the journey. I would also need a secondary backup female companion, in case one or the other dies during the exploration. Low Cryptographer 311 says, hell yeah, I'm 58 years old, retired and nothing Todo, let's go. r/NoStupidQuestions. Command Carp says, do dogs understand that we kiss them because we love them? I was just thinking about it after giving my dog a kiss, not on the mouth. Do they understand it's an affectionate thing? God bless. Wandering Deeper says, it's not natural to them, but they have the ability to figure out that it's an action that humans do to show affection. Parking Opportunity 39 says, sometimes, when I come home, my dog gets shy and crawls toward me with her ears back and tail wagging. Then when I kiss her on the head, she stops being shy and gives me kisses back. Command Carp says, that is the cutest thing ever. Lucas Kern says, if the dog feels a kiss from someone they love, then they will associate that feeling with love. I think there are many ways to convey that feeling. Sushi Sweetheart says, IDK, but every time I tell my dog I love her, she licks my face as if she's saying I love you too. Aggressive Coconut Zero says, dogs are pretty good at reading humans. Skeleton Chaser 2020 says, I give kisses and aggressively rub my forehead against his. He seems very happy with this transaction and I tend to get a lot of licks and cuddles, lol. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.